Hey!
What's up, everyone?
Hello! Welcome to Glitched, a show about VR, in VR, where we get together and we try to figure out where it's all going. Today is our awesome guest, Andru Edwards.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Put your hands together!
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, what's
Woo!
happening? Oh, I can hear that. Look at that.
Yeah, we can actually hear the claps this
Crazy.
time. This is
Yeah.
It's like real immersive VR. Am
Yeah.
I right?
This
So,
is great.
for everybody watching, we're actually filming live from a Microsoft store in the U District in Seattle, Washington.
Yes.
That's right.
Shout out to
so-
them.
So we
Shout
have,
out to Microsoft Store.
So we have like a real audience hanging out with our digital audience, with our at-home audience. We're just all over the place today.
We're all over
There's
the place,
people
man.
all over. Yeah, this is great.
Awesome. And our comment board is already almost full. That's
Holy
awesome.
cow!
Oh,
man,
what's
we
going
got,
on over
like-
there?
We are excited about this show today.
Awesome.
It is our sixth show, last show of the season. I mean, I think we should go out with a bang. You know what I mean?
I like that. So for everybody who doesn't know who Andru Edwards, why don't you give a 1-minute pitch about who you are, why they should care, and what makes you so awesome?
All right. Wow, that's a tall order right there. Hey guys, my name is Andru Edwards. I run a tech-focused YouTube channel, youtube.com/gearlive. I've been doing that full time for about 13 years, reviewing tech, gadgets, games, etc. And I'm here to talk about how to build your own personal brand, either in the tech space or really just anywhere across social media.
So,
Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
I mean, you're the expert
So-
on the subject, so.
That's true.
So, is this your first time in VR?
It is not my first time in VR as someone who reviews tech. I've played VR games and things like that. It is my first time with a VR avatar talking to other real VR avatars.
So, would this be your first time in social VR?
Yes, that's correct. First time in social
okay.
VR.
Okay.
Nice.
So, as far as like VR experiences that you've tried so far, what is like the big note for you? Like, what do you like the most, or what would you tell people to try?
For me, I really like what I call experiences versus the games. I really like something where I don't have to focus on, accomplishing a task, because VR to me is still so new that it's just amazing to put a headset on and just look around and see things happening around you and almost like explore. So, for me, it's things like, I forget the name of it, but like you can go underwater and like look at
The blue?
the blue, yeah, that one, like
Yeah.
stuff
Into
like
the blue.
that. Or there's one where I forget the name of this one too, but you're like being pushed around in a wheelchair through like a haunted, insane asylum, and so you're just looking around and all these crazy, scary things are happening, and you forget you're in VR and you actually are like shutting your eyes because you're frightened. Things like that. Things where I don't have to like sit in a race car and like try to beat everybody else coming in first place. I'd rather just go into VR and just like see cool stuff and be taken to places where I typically wouldn't be able to go.
Awesome.
Nice.
So let's talk about your channel.
All right.
So the main focus is obviously tech reviews,
Yes.
but I gotta say, if I look at your channel, it looks like a Hollywood team put together those videos. Just like the quality of your YouTube videos is
Wow.
absolutely amazing.
I appreciate
like,
that.
Yeah. Did you have like a background? Like, what's your background to create something like that, or is it just like I've had 13 years to develop this look and feel?
Yeah, that's actually really what it is. My background in this is really nothing. It started as a blog. So, 13, 14 years ago, it was 2004 basically where I started the website. And it was really started because I needed a way to make buying technology not make me poor. Because I was a young 20, I was like 20 something year old, and I would make stupid decisions like, hey, instead of paying my phone bill because they won't shut it off unless I'm late 2 times in a row, I'll pay it next month, and then I'll go buy the new whatever just came out. Which is a terrible thing to do. It's a terrible idea. Don't do
really
that.
bad idea.
So what I had to do was basically, instead of tech making me poor, I needed tech to make me money. And so I started out with a weblog where I would every day, about an hour after work, I'd put in my thoughts on the tech news of the day. And after about 9 months, that became my full-time job just through ad revenue.
Wow.
And 2
9
years
months?
later, 9 months. 2 years later, January 2006 is when I started doing video very poorly. If you go back to my early video, they're terrible. But it was my way of differentiating myself because blogs became super saturated. Everybody had a blog. The major blogs were getting bought up by major corporations and adding to their staffs. And so back then, not many people were doing video, and video became my way of standing out from the crowd. But yeah, over the years, like everything that I do is self-taught. Everything you see on my channel, whether it's, the editing or the shots that I get or the graphics, that's all done by me. But it definitely took a long time for me to get to that point. Even just 4 or 5 years ago, if you compare those videos to now, it's terrible. So
Do you do your own motion graphics?
I do. Yeah, I use my own motion graphics. I use plugins, which so someone else makes them and sells them as packages, and you can buy those and incorporate them and just edit them. I don't make them from scratch.
So you use like templates and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of modify
Exactly.
it to get your
Right.
Were you on? Did you jump on video like right when YouTube launched from the start, or were you like, a couple years after that, or like how did you jump into the video stuff?
I actually started video before YouTube was even around.
Oh.
So nowadays a lot of YouTube creators will complain about things like being demonetized, or how unfair YouTube is with distribution. And to me, someone who's been doing it for a long time, it's like, wait a minute, I used to host all my videos on my own web server, and I used to have to pay to stream all those videos or download them to people who wanted to watch them. And so YouTube, to me, saves me a ton of money. If you were to store even one 4K high definition video that's, let's just say 3 gigs, and 1,000 people or 5,000 people, or sometimes, tens of thousands of people want to watch that, that would cost you a lot of money. And today it's free. Yeah. So, I never complain about, YouTube and how they treat creators, because to me, it is a huge money saver.
No joke. I mean, it probably that was probably like the best thing ever for you. Like,
absolutely.
I don't have to stream in real player anymore and WMVs.
Right.
This is amazing. I
Yep,
don't
they
have to
take care of it all
on MySpace. What?
So I think we've actually gone through like a page and a half of comments that we haven't.
You want to hit it already?
Wow.
Yeah, I think we should already go to it.
Let's hit this one over here.
Where do we go?
Okay, so
I'm just spinning
Chris
around.
Jones, what is going on?
What is going on, Chris?
This is Glitched, a show about VR in VR, where we get together. Clarence Campo, hi.
Like you've heard the spiel before. We've done 6 episodes. You know all about this.
Hello. Am I tripping?
Gino. We are tripping.
Only
tripping
if you
too.
took something.
Well,
only if you took something.
JC Flash is
wow.
JC Flash, Gino, you are tripping, but you are not alone. I don't quite understand what I'm watching either. We are people in real life in a Microsoft store talking to each other right next to each other, but it doesn't really look. It's really weird. It's super meta.
I feel like Andrew Edwards didn't pay the extra 99 cents.
That's true. That is true. That is true.
That is awesome.
Social VR. I don't like this avatar. It looks like Walker from The Walking Dead. Salam alaikum. Yeah. Hello.
Andres Luce Aplastado.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Luce Aplastado. I don't know what that means. Anybody speak Spanish in the house? Anyone in High Fidelity speak Spanish?
I mean, there's a sombrero right here.
He might speak Spanish! He probably just got that from the Avatar store, though. Avatar Island lets you get hats now, dude!
Wow.
Oh, it's so cool.
This is great.
Awesome. So, what do you think of this avatar?
I mean, I do kind of agree with him. You said my avatar blew up. You said my avatar
became
exploded.
an ice monster, spike ball monster. It was hectic.
I built this avatar in 15 minutes.
Right.
That's
because
how much of a badass Eugene is. Look
right.
how bald
the old one was so badass that it just blew up. So we needed something less badass, and this is the result right here.
It was too
but
badass
look at your
for High
pecs.
Fidelity.
Well, I know. This is crazy. This is. Look at my wrists, though. My wrists are kind of small.
Dude, if you have the things on your thing, you can do
everybody.
helicopter wrist. Helicopter wrist. Helicopter wrist.
I know, it looks like you bench 350 right now.
I know. That's thanks to you. I appreciate that.
Awesome. And we even went ahead and like gave you the gold t-shirts that you
Yes.
requested and your gold
Right.
sneakers because
Everything.
that's what you wear in real life when you go and talk.
IRL.
Yeah.
It's the uncanny valley over here.
I don't know if for the audience with us, they can probably see that we try to dress like our avatars when we did this.
Yeah. I was absent-minded and I wore a blue shirt, not a green
Oh, that's
shirt.
messed up. That's messed
I also
up.
didn't fall and scrape my arms, so my arms aren't actually all bruised up. But you know,
how dare you break character? Okay, so you made the top like 100 new influencers for like YouTube last year, didn't you?
I did, which I don't even remember who made that list, but yeah, which was crazy. I made that list as well as the top, something like the top 10 tech influencers to follow for 2017. Maybe I made that list again in 2018. I don't know yet, but we'll see. But yeah, I think it's mostly due to the fact, like I said earlier, that I've been doing it for so long, and I kind of understand, how, I don't know, for lack of a better term, how the game is played, what you need to do to succeed, in the current landscape.
So, like, what was like one of the biggest challenges of, like starting a brand? Did you start with like starting a brand, or were you just like, I'm Andrew Edwards and I know computer stuff and I review things, and like, did the brand thing come later? Did you take that more seriously, or did you just kind of like start off doing it willy nilly, or like?
Right. So the thing is, I started with a brand. The website was gearlive.com. I still maintain that to this day, and it's also youtube.com/gearlive. And that was actually the brand I used. That was the brand I focused on. That's the brand I reached out with when I wanted to talk to, major companies. And maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I realized, like, if I were to say to you, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, USA Today, you all know what those are, right? Yeah. Now, if I were to name, more than likely, a random writer for those papers, just said their name, you'd probably be like, who's that? I don't know who that is. Is that your friend? Like, who is that?
Yeah.
And so I realized quickly that for me, as a independent influencer, it's more important that companies know my name rather than the brand Gear Live. And so I made a pivot and started just using my name and putting my name everywhere. And so now, if I walk into, let's say, any tech conference and there's, any tech brands there, they'll see my face and they'll know my name right away just by my face, rather than, hey, isn't that guy that from that Gear Live website but don't really know me? So, and that's one of my main tips actually that I tell people is really build your personal brand rather than, a third-party separate brand from yourself, which seems counterintuitive because everybody wants to have a business with like its own business name and its own, cachet. But, the best way to build a business today is to have people know you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man, I really screwed the pooch when I'm stuck with this man bun and this gray beard forever since I got this avatar. I can't change it.
I like the man bun. No, I like the man. Exactly.
No,
you need to.
But you keep it. You keep that.
I know. I gotta rock it. It's my thing, man. It's my thing.
Leave the man bun alone.
Yeah. Don't no one touch the man bun. No one touch the man bun.
So if you had a brand, so if a kid was like, I want to be the next great tech reviewer on YouTube.
Okay.
What are like some tips you would give him?
What I would tell them, first of all, is don't worry about having to buy all the new stuff that comes out, which is what, that's the first step. It's the first mistake people make, especially getting into tech, is they think I need to buy all this new stuff because that's what people want to see, but I'm just getting started. I don't have the money. I'm not making the income. Therefore, it's impossible to grow, which isn't true. There's tech all around you. You probably have a smartphone, even if it's not the latest one. You can find something about your phone or a few things about your phone that you like or that you can explain in a unique way that can be, one video or a series of videos right there. You probably know people who have the latest, whether it's iPhone or Android device or whatever, that you can borrow their phone, take some shots of it, and use that as B-roll and just come up with some sort of angle to talk about it. So basically, what I'm saying is, don't
Hustle.
worry about. Yeah, that's really it. It's about hustling. It really is about hustle. You're not going to get brands to send you devices on day one. They don't know who you are, and you're not going to be able to, unless you're rich. You're not going to be able to, because technology is expensive. You're not going to be able to afford it all on day one. But just get creative. Find ways to, borrow things or make connections to where you at least have basic access to things that you can start talking about, and also find a niche. You don't have to review everything. You can do, gaming. You can do even more niche retro gaming. You can do VR gaming. You can do, instead of all tech, you can do smartphones, or you can do Android, or you can do Android apps, and like find something to really focus on that you can be known for, rather than I just do everything and therefore I'm doing everything that everyone else is doing. And the other big thing I would tell them, and this is for any niche, whether it's tech or otherwise, everyone that wants to build a channel usually has their favorite video creators that they watch.
Yeah.
And they say to themselves, this person is so great, I want to be like them. I want to make content like them, whether like iJustine, MKBHD, whoever it is.
Yeah.
And that becomes a trap, because no one wants to watch a copy of something that they already enjoy. No one wants to watch a copy. They want to see something unique. So why would I watch you when I can watch the original? You need to come up with your own personality, your own angle, and really you need to be yourself and not try to copy what you see other people doing. That's how you stand out, and that's how you get people to notice you.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is, go to Best Buy, figure out what the return policy is.
Bob's got a return policy.
Review it, and then return it the next
Hey.
day.
Some people do that. Some people take advantage of the return policies. And again, if, I don't know if that's good or bad, but it is one way to get a hold of some stuff. And again, if you're trying to hustle and trying to start something, man. Exactly. They do say you can buy something and return it within 30 days, 14 days, whatever it is.
It's 15 now, I think.
Oh, really?
At Best Buy?
That's why. It's because of all the YouTube people. It's because of all the YouTube people doing this. They're like, we're going to cut this down to 2 weeks.
So
that's like doorbusters, and all the YouTubers
figure
come
out
in.
return policies, or
Right.
make friends with really rich people who buy a lot of random crap. Review their stuff and be like, "Hey, man, thanks for the borrow for a day. Here you go.
Right.
Here's your iPhone 10X back."
Or find a unique thing. Like, again, you can take, let's just say, you got to get creative. So let's say you don't have the latest tech and your phone is a year and a half old, right? You can say to yourself, okay, let me make a video or a series of videos showing the newest apps and how they perform on older hardware. So if you want the best video editing app for, a 2-year-old phone, here's what that is. So you just got to get
kind
creative.
Of obscure creative.
Exactly, because
stuff like that.
Because when you think about it, the majority of people out there don't always have the latest and greatest. That is a very, very, very small category of people that always have the newest thing that comes out. So talk to the people that have the best chance for, identifying with you. Yeah. And so recognize who you are and, make videos that you would want to watch. So it doesn't always have to be the newest thing. It's about being creative with what you have.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think about when it comes to creating content? A lot of people want to hit the ground running. They're like, I'm gonna make 5 videos a week, and then we're gonna do live streams on Saturday, and people just get super burnout. What's your advice? Do you think it's smart to go full bore into things and just go crazy, or start slow, build yourself up? What's the best strategy for you, do you think?
So it depends on what your goal is. If your goal is you want to do this full time and make a living at it, you do have to be prepared to work a little harder. And what I tell people is you need to do a minimum of 2 pieces of content per week on YouTube if you want to start growing rapidly, because your end goal is that this will be your job. Some people just want to do it for fun. If you want to do it for fun and you don't care about, audience growth and analytics and all this stuff, and you just want to dip your toe in, yeah, like, again, I would still say do one thing a week. If you're doing anything less than one thing a week, people aren't going to be as invested in you as a subscriber or even be compelled to subscribe. And ultimately, when you make a video, you're hoping people are going to watch it, right? You're not just putting it out there just for no reason. So one video a week, you don't have to go overboard with, fancy editing, fancy graphics, all this. As long as the information in the video is compelling. So there is production quality, right? And there's also information quality,
And
production
story and
value,
things like that, yeah.
yes, information value. And so as long as you have, like you said, either a good story or a good angle, even if it's not the best production value, as long as the information value is there, people will watch. So in fact, I did a video about a month ago when the iPhone 10 was released.
Mhm.
I was outside the Apple store, and a group of people showed up who didn't pre-order the device, and they didn't have any phones for if you didn't pre-order. And they called the police on the Apple store for false advertising. They were like, "Hey, Tim Cook said the phone goes on sale today. There's supposed to be phones that you don't have any. That's false advertising. I'm calling the cops." So I call the cops. So they call the cops. The cops show up, right? The cops start. The guy is like telling the female manager, he's like this big dude, "You give me your home phone number right now because this is unacceptable and all this, and I can't see everybody out here in front of us. But I assume a lot of people are like, what happened in this story? What is the ending here, right?" The second half,
2.7 million views.
the second half of that video was the actual, let's talk about the iPhone 10. The first half was the story.
Nice.
All the comments were about the story, not the phone. So that tells you the value. The value is in a story that people can connect with, not about the tech.
Yeah. Make compelling content, people are going to
That's
watch
it.
it. I mean, you
That's
make
right.
stuff people like and stuff you're proud of.
I definitely want to hear what happened in this story.
Well, what happened was eventually the cops came. The guy was trying to convince the cops that the Apple Store employees needed to be arrested for some reason.
Because that happened.
And then one of the people he was with was like, "Hey, what's the phone number for the media? We need to get the media down here. What is the phone number? Yeah, what is the phone number for the media?" Which
I really wish we had the quotes now.
makes no sense.
The media.
Right. Like there's one phone number to call, and all the police, all the news stations and bloggers and everything show up. And so eventually the cop was like, "You guys are gonna have to leave." And he's like, "Why do I have to leave? This is public property." But he's standing on mall property. He's not even on public property. And the mall security guards are asking him. So eventually their group had to leave, and it was very obvious that they were scalpers. They wanted to buy multiple phones and resell them overseas, which is why Oregon and Washington State did not have iPhones for people who didn't pre-order. So,
is that only a problem in Oregon and Washington State?
It's a problem because Oregon is tax-free, and then people will drive to Oregon.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, Washington and Oregon stores, and I think one other state in the country that's tax-free, they didn't have phones unless you pre-ordered. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Huh.
Interesting.
The comments are already full again.
Let's hit the board.
The board. Let me go over to this board.
Whoa, you're behind the board.
Oh, whoa, where am I? Oh, wow.
Hey.
Okay.
Little too far. Little too far.
Calm down, Andrew. Calm down. Hello at Momsties.
Hey, Andrew, get to catch a unique live stream like this.
Nice.
Yeah.
We agree.
Thanks, Quantum L.
Anybody doing that return shit should be banned from the store.
Hey, I don't disagree. But some people get desperate.
Baller on a budget, man. If you got to make it work, you got to build that YouTube channel somehow.
This is the 6th show already. That's amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you to High Fidelity for giving us the opportunity to do
this. That's
this
right.
Is awesome, man.
Hi, hello. Merhaba?
I think that's another. Hello.
Tim Cook lied to us.
Hey,
I'm mad.
Call the police.
Yo, Andrew, did you really use the Fidget Live on your review? No judgment here, just common in my native land.
And then, hi, bros. Oh, it's Jenny. What's up, Jenny?
What's up, Jenny? I don't even know who you are, but hi.
She watches us on Twitch too.
Ah,
some of the 360 Connect games
this
does
guy
it better.
bending down.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Thanks for the comments, guys. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. We will be back to the board in a little bit. Right on.
So, what are some YouTubers that you watch that keep you motivated?
Motivated. So I try not to find my motivation through watching other people in my niche. Kind of going back to what I said earlier about not copying others. I think even if you don't mean to, if you constantly watch, specific channels over and over, even subconsciously, it'll kind of color. Right. Yeah. So what I usually watch on YouTube, I do watch some tech channels, but it's more, I don't watch tech channels so much as I watch the videos that YouTube recommends to me in the main page, not the subscription feed. And I'll just see, okay, what's going on out there, news-wise, or more often than not, I'll watch music videos or people doing comedy skits. So I do watch tech, but I watch, if you boil it all down, most of my YouTube viewing is outside of tech and more just general, just seeing what's trending and all that. I want to know, it's more valuable to me to know what's trending, what YouTube says is trendy, because then that is how I can kind of target my content, by knowing what are people looking for and what can I give them. Because if something's big, then that's what people are looking for and searching for. That's the content. I want to see if I can make some sort of content around those topics.
So what's your reach on social right now? What influencer status?
Man,
how much you got on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all those?
Twitter is.
Are we doing clout scores? Is that what
I'm just curious?
Forgot about clout. I forgot about clout.
Eugene's all about the clout.
I am all about the clout.
That's hilarious.
I'm coming up on you, man. I'm coming up on you.
So I think on Twitter, between my two accounts, my brand account and my personal, I have about 150,000, 160,000 followers. YouTube, roughly maybe 145,000. I'm on Snapchat. I get roughly 3,000 views per story. Instagram, roughly 40,000 subscribers there. But the other thing I tell people is that it's not about that number. If you focus on those numbers, you're kind of playing the wrong game, and you're ultimately playing a game that you can't win. So this kind of goes out back to the people who want to do this either as a part-time or full-time living, not the people doing it for fun. If you're focusing on the number, right, you're focusing on something that people are doing better than you. If I focus on my number, 145,000 subscribers, which sounds great, there's people with millions of subscribers out there. Therefore, I'm playing a losing game because I'm not as good as them, if that is your metric. So I focus on what are the things that I can do better than others, regardless of the subscriber number. For me, the brands I work with ultimately is tech brands. They want to sell products. So I can show them reports and I can give them contacts with other brands I've worked with before that say, if you give me, let's just say $5,000, I can turn that into $10,000 in sales. So I can double your money. A lot of brands have told me, wow, you're 1/10 the size, subscriber rise of this other guy I worked with, and he couldn't even give us 25% of our money back, and you gave us 100%. You doubled it.
Yeah.
And so that, all of a sudden, it's not about the number. The number that I gave them is a number I'm better at. And so the number is the sales figure. I'm better at that than the other guy who has a bigger subscriber number. So think about what you're good at and what are the metrics that kind of make you appear to be the best choice when you want to work with a brand, and focus on that. And oftentimes it's not the subscriber number. It could be your views, but it's not the subscriber number.
I think there's something to be said about subscriber numbers and Twitter followers and stuff like that. But it's not about the number; it's about the quality of the people actually following you and engaging.
That's right.
So if you can build a huge community, you might not have 1 million subscribers, but if you have 145,000 really core people that love your stuff, you only need those people. Anything you go anywhere higher than that, it's just bonus. But if you have that community that you can build around your brand, that's what's really special.
Yeah, and that's what's important. And that's what brands are looking for. Ultimately, they don't realize it, but they're looking for someone with an engaged community. They're not looking for someone with just millions of subscribers. Now, if you have millions of engaged subscribers, that's the perfect potion right there. But usually, yeah, exactly. But a lot of times, people with those large numbers don't have the same amount of engagement. The more subscribers you get, usually the lower your engagement gets because people, will drop off. Someone could have subscribed to you, 6 years ago, and today never looks at you again. So the subscriber number, I think, is relatively meaningless, except for your current people, of course. So find the things that are meaningful specifically for your channel, and that's what you focus on when you talk to brands.
Topher, I think you should be the Logan Paul for the man bun community.
See, there it is.
I don't know if I want to be the.
Yeah.
Oh, I
There it
don't
is.
want to be the Jake Paul. I'll be the Logan Paul.
Logan Paul is cool. Jake Paul is.
I like Jake. I
not
like Logan
okay.
Paul. No Jake Paul. I'm good with Jake Paul.
Nobody
I'll
likes
say that
Jake
to Jake
Paul.
Paul's face in VR too. So Jake Paul, meet me behind the bleachers.
This Jake Paul Logan Paul argument is hilarious right now.
Meet me behind the bleachers is like my new favorite thing to say in VR because I'm always playing shooter games. There always happens to be a stadium somewhere in the game that I'm playing. So I'm just like, yo, meet me behind the bleachers. You're going to get your ass kicked. Open chat, man. It's great.
Do you actually
Sorry, tangent. Huh?
You actually go behind the bleachers in the game though, and do they ever meet you there?
Yeah, I think I've had like one. I had one guy meet me there last.
Oh, that's
night.
amazing.
And then I was gonna shoot him, and then he stole my gun and shot me in the face.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah. So what are you playing
bad.
now? You just started like a Twitch channel and you already got affiliate.
Yes, I did.
How'd you do that?
Bringing that up. I just stream my ass off basically.
Well, just nonstop streaming.
No, I set up my Twitch stream about a month ago after we went to TwitchCon and got our dupe skins. I was like super inspired by Twitch and got on there, just started streaming. I got my green screen set up and
Nice.
got a nice camera and stuff. It just looks really cool. I've been playing Standout a lot. And Standout's like, you know what PlayerUnknown Battleground is?
Yes.
So it's like PUBG, but in VR. It's like a really rudimentary version
wow.
of it. So you drop in off of a plane onto this island, and then the barrier's closing, and you have to go find guns. And
how many people?
25 people right
25,
now.
Wow.
Dude, it is so much fun. You can ride motorcycles and shoot people. It's crazy. I got an ATV kill the other day.
It sounds like you need a strong stomach to be riding motorcycles in VR, sir.
Dude, when you spend as much time in VR as I do, I just don't get motion sickness anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm probably in VR probably 3 hours a day, probably about 10 hours. Well, when I get into VR, it's about 3 hours a day, but then about 10 to 20 hours a week, I'm probably in VR.
Jeez.
Yeah, I play a lot.
Okay. So you live here. This is basically your house.
This is our domain. Me and Eugene's domain. It's actually our domain, but the VR is our domain.
Yes.
You just permanently have the shapes on your face.
The red lines around my eyes.
The headset.
They're like, man, you look really tired. Did you fall asleep on like a plate or something? I'm like, no, it's the VR, man. It's a permanent thing.
There it is.
It's something I'm dealing with, you know.
You know, one of these days we're going to get really inspired and go try to break the world record for most time in a VR headset.
Oh, dude, I think the record right now is 54 hours. And I'm playing around with an idea.
Did they go to the restroom? You have to stay in there even when you go to the bathroom, I assume. You can't take it off.
Yeah.
I assume there's somebody to help you shake.
Or you just do this.
You have to eat.
Is this working in VR? If I go pee,
it is.
This, I'm shaking.
It is working.
I have to put my hands in the air and point as well.
It's disturbing, but it's working.
Just get a catheter.
Oh.
VR catheter.
Or get like a funnel.
New market. There you
go. VR funnel. I can just imagine you like sitting in a chair for too long and your legs just go dead, and then you try to get up and you're like inside VR and you're like struggling to keep yourself up.
Andrew, you look distracted by our
I turned my back on that. I turned my back on you. All that shaking you were doing.
What I was saying was I've been playing around with the idea about maybe doing like a charity live stream.
Okay.
And live streaming for like 55 hours.
Jeez, in VR.
Hell yeah. Why not?
No breaks.
No breaks. Get the vibe going on. I got multiple controllers, so I can swap out the controllers. I've kind of worked it out. I gotta find the charity that I want to work with. But I think I want to break that world record here. I need to get a lot of air conditioners. And I gotta get my all my stuff figured out. But I'm doing it. I think I might be doing this.
You should look for deodorant sponsorships.
There you go.
That's a brilliant idea.
There you go.
Dude, Axe will be all on top of that. Axe,
Slim Jim
watching?
sponsorship.
You know where
Slim
I'm at.
Jims.
Come find me. Come find me. Not behind the bleachers. I live in Tacoma. Anyways,
Is that like get in front of the school, not behind the bleachers? I'll meet you by the flagpole.
Yeah, meet me by the flagpole. We're gonna hang out.
There you go.
My mom's gonna pick us up, and we're gonna go home and play some VR.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Yeah, you know how it goes. Right on.
You know what?
Yes.
So you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, right?
I know him.
I'm thinking you should probably have your own brand of gold sneakers.
I should.
Oh, dude.
I should.
The Andrew Edwards K-Swiss?
That's right. That's right. Well, not the K-Swiss. Not the K-Swiss. Give me. It has to be more of a.
Adidas.
Adidas is good.
Be on top of that.
Like I can get an Ultra Boost or something. That'd be cool. I'll go with a gold Ultra Boost. Supra, something like Jordans. Gold Jordans.
You'd be the first tech reviewer with his own sneaker. Me and
I deserve that.
I
deserve that.
VR guys.
Where the hell did you guys go?
We ducked down to stare at your shoes and scream.
Like, jeez.
Oh, is it time to go back to the board?
I think it's time to go back to the board. You want to hit this board, or you want to hit that board?
What are the different boards?
I feel like we never do this board.
Let's do this board. We gotta show this board some love.
I'm over here.
I mean, they're all the same thing.
Some love.
Drew Stone. Great tips on framing the scope of the hustle, Andrew.
Hey, it's all about the hustle.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
Hello, salam,
marhaba.
Cloud
scores. Go ahead.
Andrew. All right. Andrew 69. Eugene 64. Topher 61.
Yes. Hey, there it is.
Losing.
69 cloud score.
I'm only 8 behind you. I'm pretty good about myself.
Right,
now.
right. You're hustling.
I'm only 5 behind you. Let's do this.
Make sure to tell the deodorant brand about that score.
You see this, Eugene? You see that score? That's a 61 and that's a 64. I'm coming for you, son.
I was
coming for you.
65 yesterday. It went down a few points.
How do you know? You knew where you were yesterday. This is hilarious.
He knows at all
This
times.
is hilarious.
Because I check every morning.
Let me know what my cloud score is.
I want to know what my cloud score is. I want to make sure I'm growing and not going under.
Why gold? Why gold?
Says, why gold? Yeah.
Okay, here's. I'll answer that because there's actually it's not just a quick answer. So the reason for the gold shoes, or really anything that I do, is because it goes back to standing out. So when I go out to an event or something, I will wear, not that I look completely ridiculous, but something that I know other people aren't going to be wearing. I'm not going to be wearing a plain brown shirt or just jeans or whatever. I'm going to try to find something that stands out to where if you walk into the room, people are like, who is that guy? Why is he wearing that? Or who is that? Or their eye gravitates towards you. So I have 3 different pairs, 3 different brands and everything, pairs of gold shoes. I have a liquid silver shoe. I have shirts with gold on them. So basically, bright orange. It goes back to being noticed. You want to get noticed. Totally. And the clothes you wear is one easy way to make sure you get noticed. So you're kind of basically, you're being yourself, but you want to turn the dial, if there were a dial, a volume dial for you, turn it to 11. So you really want to have a big personality and obviously be friendly and everything, but have that big personality and be comfortable standing out.
Nice. I just wear silly cat shirts, so.
Right. Or the man bun. See, I can't do the man bun. I can't do the man bun.
Hey, what you got? It's working, buddy. It's working.
All right. You get 10-minute breaks every hour. I assume that's for the world record.
No.
The world record?
I'm going 55 hours in the headset. Screw breaks. I ain't taking that thing off. Nobody would be like, oh yeah, but you took 10-minute breaks every hour. No, not happening. If I'm doing it, I'm going all in.
All right, I need a vibe. I really need it.
Jonas Archery.
Go buy one.
Fidelity.
Go buy one then.
Yeah, just go buy one. They're like $600 now.
Haven't they gone down? I thought they went down.
Yeah,
you can get them on eBay for like $350 right now.
Okay, Eugene, let me ask you a question. Pretend I'm on this board because I actually don't know the answer. So the Vive and the Rift came out a few years ago at this point.
Yeah.
When are we going to see the next evolution, like a Vive 2 or a Rift 2?
Ooh.
Okay.
Well, any guesses? So don't break any NDAs.
No. Next year, we should be having the Oculus Go come out.
Okay, but that's not a true successor, right? It's not stronger.
No,
it's like a
but as far as other, so we have mixed reality headsets that are coming out right now, which don't use. They're all headgear tracking.
Yes.
So that's what you have. But what is it called? The Pimax?
The Pimax.
The Pimax has an 8K resolution.
Dude, it's insane.
Wow.
4K screens on each eye, and it's like 270 degrees of field of view.
Yeah,
Jeez.
that's going to be the next evolution of the VR
Dude,
headset. And
that
really
is
That's
gonna
not bad.
blow my mind.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a question down here. Someone, they say they know who I am, but who are you guys?
Who are
you
we
guys?
Introduce ourselves,
You didn't even
Eugene.
introduce yourselves.
Oh.
So hi, hello
Hi.
to the people who know me, but yeah, I'm a guest on their show. I'm a guest.
I'm Topher Welsh. I'm a motion graphics artist and video guy in Seattle. I do a lot of VR and stream on Twitch and YouTube and all that stuff. Eugene?
I'm Cap'n Design. I'm your next subscribe on YouTube.
Oh, I like the way you framed that.
I'm
you're my next follower
subscribe.
on Twitch. That's what I'll follow up with that.
It's
Who's this?
either confidence or arrogance.
See, that's how you get affiliate status.
There you go. Hello,
is
hello,
this
Stacy. Hello, Gino.
Is this high fidelity? Yes, it is.
Yes,
we want
it
to
is.
buy all the iPhones. I only know who Andrew is. Can you tell me the other two? Hey, Andrew. I think that's what we got.
I think that's
Hi,
it.
Stacy. Hi, Stacy.
What's up, Stacy?
Right on. Well, what time do we got right now? You want to go to the audience for questions?
Yes.
Let's
Yeah.
do this. We're gonna have you guys do the come up to the squares. These little domes are gonna drop down.
Oh, whoa.
And then you guys can ask a question, but make sure you step into the circle, or else we won't be able to hear you because it's gonna amplify your voice.
Okay, so the audience that are asking questions is the virtual audience.
The virtual audience
The
right
virtual
now.
audience is walking.
And
this
whoever
this is
asks
amazing.
the first question gets a free glitched signed poster.
Whoa. Do I get one?
Yeah, we can give you
Oh,
one.
of course you get one. No, Andrew, you don't get one. They're for the
No.
fans.
Oh!
Oh, Zah, what's up? This goes into every show, man.
Yeah,
She
so
teleported there.
2 selfies, 3 questions, and
Woo!
I didn't even ask my address yet to where to send the poster. So
We're sending them out here after the last
5
show.
tries is good.
I got you. We got you. I got
Question.
you.
So the people out here did not hear that. Is that
No,
correct?
they can hear her. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
As a fabulous tech influencer, what do you think of all that's coming up in these exciting years now? Is the most exciting and the most groundbreaking tech?
Okay. Oh, man. So I'm going to go with anything that Elon Musk is working on if he's able to actually get these things to ship on time or at all. But the advent of really cool electric vehicles that don't look nerdy, that actually look cool, that are saving people from using all the gas and everything, that's cool. But the next step that he's doing with the electric trucks that can be convoys, that can change self-driving, that can change infrastructure in the US is cool. But even better, so we're talking about space flight and traveling to Mars, which is great. But he also showed how to use one of their rockets to travel on Earth. So you're in Seattle and you want to go to New York City, you take a rocket and you're there in 14 minutes.
Yeah,
imagine
lower
traveling. You travel across the globe and it takes you at most 2 hours to get somewhere, anywhere on Earth.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That
insane.
to me is that feels very futuristic to me. 10 years ago my answer would have been holding a thin piece of glass in your hand and be able to talk to someone face to face anywhere in the world. And now everybody can do that.
Right.
That's how fast technology is moving. So to me, the next amazing thing is cars that drive themselves. And I think within the next 15 or 20 years, it will be illegal for people to drive themselves anywhere. It's all going to be cars that drive themselves for you to avoid accidents, and space travel or rocket travel, even locally. That's my answer.
Yeah, I think the low Earth orbit stuff is super cool. I mean,
Yeah.
that has a potential to just change everything.
Right.
Everything,
as long as it's not super expensive.
And as long as they can pull it off too. So.
Gopher, what's your answer for that? What do you see as far as the next evolution of technology for pressing and changing mankind?
I think I'm really, and this is gonna sound super cliche because we're on a VR talk show and everything, but I'm super impressed by all the augmented reality stuff coming out. And I have a feeling that in the next 10 years, we're going to have contact lenses. And the contact lenses will have AR stuff, and we can switch between virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality just by thinking about it.
Ready Player One?
Yeah. And like, I'm super stoked for the advent of that kind of stuff.
You know what scares me about that, though? There's only one thing that scares me about that. Advertisers ruin everything.
Yep.
I don't want to be going into AR and having spam. Like, hey, go into this store with like a bright sign outside. Come in here for 50 cents off your coffee. No spam.
Are you kidding? There is going to be an AR ad blocker where it's
There you
just
go.
going to, where anytime you look at like the landscape, it's just going to be like covered in red and blue boxes everywhere.
Have you heard of Decentraland?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Decentraland, it's a community. If no one knows about Decentraland, it's a virtual world based on the Ethereum blockchain, and currently, I think right now they have an auction going on to where you can buy plots of land.
Really?
In this this virtual world. So you claim the virtual plot, and then you can build on it, and then you can rent it out for space. So like we could buy a glitch theater, build the glitch theater in Decentraland, and then host Ricky Gervais doing his stand-up on stage. Like, sorry, I hit you, buddy.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
And then like you can host events live on stage, or you could have nightclubs where you have Deadmau5 playing on.
Wow,
dude, it'd be insane. Like that is something that it's blowing my mind.
Yes, and I guess the blockchain in general is also a huge thing going forward. It's not something that I totally understand yet, like from a fluent perspective, but it's very obvious that decentralization of things that are currently centralized is going to be a big thing in the future too.
Princess is back. Hey.
Are the meshes in Decentraland also hosted in the blockchain?
I don't know. I don't know much about how it works. I just read like the brief on basically what it was and what they were doing. I didn't even actually visit Decentraland. I don't know if you can actually visit it yet, but like I just read about it. It really intrigued me. So,
because we got a great blockchain here too. It's like
high fidelity.
A smaller one, which is like has like fewer mutually distrusting members, but still keeps up like the algorithm. And so I think it's a good start for like commerce and content protection. So this is like very exciting. And one community member, Darling, has also managed to host actually an avatar mesh on a blockchain, and I was just interested. Maybe this was Decentraland. So
I have no idea. I'm not sure.
Exciting
That's really
times,
cool though.
So
right on.
just
Thanks for the
curious
question.
I agree.
Do you think we should try and take a question from our live studio audience, like actually in front of us?
Yeah, we should.
Here, I'm gonna lift my head up and I'm gonna call on somebody. Anybody have a question in the audience? What's your question? Yell it.
So it was recommended to start up with 2 videos a week, start building a kind of professional audience and make a living doing this. How long would that take? Do you think today, starting to make that focal point, you can do it full time?
Okay, so
yeah. So the question was, earlier I recommended a minimum 2 times per week. If you want to do, content creation full time as a living, how long would it take? You started today, putting out 2 pieces of content per week in order to be someone who could just rely on this as your full time income. And the answer is, it depends on your number 1, your niche, and number 2, how much you hustle. The reason I say your niche is because different industries are going to generate different types of income. The industry I'm in, for example, which is consumer electronics and gaming, right now, 5 or 6 days from Christmas, the Q4 season for me is huge because every company out there wants to get their products in front of my audience. If I was doing, let's just say, car reviews, it would be totally different. Or if I was doing woodworking or knitting or makeup, all these things have different, and honestly, some of these industries I know nothing about. So it really is, you got to do your research. It should be something that you're passionate about. Don't just go for the money. Don't just go for mesothelioma cancer because that has a lot of ad revenue in it, but you don't care about cancer. You're not a medical professional. You have no anecdotes about it, but you just want to make money. You're going to burn out very quickly trying to do 2 pieces of content a week on that. So find something that you love, whatever the topic is, and that's what you focus on. 2 pieces of content per week at a minimum, though. So if you want to go above the minimum, do 3 or 4 pieces of content a week. But don't just rely on YouTube. This is the other thing I tell people. Most people say they want to be a full-time YouTuber. And this was an air quote, YouTuber. I tell people,
we need those air quotes.
Yes. Forget that term. Don't ever use that term. It's not about being a YouTuber. It's about being an influencer or a content creator, whatever you want to call it. Don't tie whatever you call yourself to a specific service. So I don't call myself a YouTuber. I also don't call myself a Facebooker or an Instagrammer or a Twitterer or any of these things, yet I have a presence across all of them. You want to make sure you have a presence anywhere that's relevant for your audience. And I'll give you one example of this. I had a kid come up to me. I say kid because I'm 37 years old. He was probably like 23, so he's a full-on adult. But he came up to me and said he wanted to thank me because he asked a question on Twitter to various people he watched on YouTube, asking how he could get to 1,000 subscribers within the next 2 weeks. He had roughly 600 or 700, and he got an invitation to attend something really cool at the YouTube space in California, but you needed a minimum of 1,000 subscribers in order to attend this event and accept the invitation. And so he said I was the only one that responded to him, and I gave him a couple of tips on how to get there. He spent, I think it was 6 years, and it took him that long to get to 600. He needed 400 more. Using my tips, he got to about 800. So he didn't get to that 1,000. But the other thing I told him was, why are you putting all this time and energy into YouTube when you look at every social media service that you can be on and think about your audience, who you're trying to reach, and is there somewhere else that might make more sense to put all your energy into? He took that advice and found a social media app called Musical.ly. Musical.ly is something that a lot of kids love. It's basically a lot of the videos are lip syncing to popular music. So think of it as a Instagram or YouTube, but for kind of that purpose. And his content was about dancing. So he joined Musical.ly. He started putting his dance videos on YouTube and also there. And the place where he wanted to thank me was at a big convention called Playlist Live, which is a big video creator conference that goes on annually in Orlando. And the reason he was there was because in 3 weeks, he went from 0 subscribers on Musical.ly to over 80,000 subscribers on Musical.ly.
Cow.
And he was at the conference because Playlist Live contacted him and invited him to pay for his trip and his hotel so he could dance on their stage in front of their thousands of people attending. If he just decided to continue doing the grind on YouTube and wasn't really thinking about, strategically, here's the content I do, YouTube is going to be a place where I publish, but where else do I need to be? If he was just struggling on YouTube, he would not have been there. He wouldn't have had that opportunity. So think about the niche you want to publish in, you want to participate in, and you want to be a thought leader in. Definitely make YouTube, a part of that or even the priority. But to really grow, it's about growing your community, your own community, wherever the people who want your content live. So if it's content that young people like, young people still live in Snapchat. If you have no presence there, you're working too hard, and you're not working smart. You're working hard. Instagram, huge. Facebook. I know a lot of YouTube creators that say I don't put my videos on Facebook because they don't have a checkbox that allows me to monetize my video. So they're not getting my video. So what they're doing in essence is ignoring the 2 billion daily users on Facebook because they can't click a button and make 37 cents in ad revenue. The easiest way to monetize Facebook is you're pitching brands your content. They say they want to pay you to do something on YouTube, and then you say, hey, I have this many people following me on Facebook because I concentrated there and I built that up as well. For an extra X amount of money, I can also publish my video to my Facebook audience. And brands will say, yes, that sounds great. And so right there, you just monetize Facebook. So basically, be everywhere you can, hustle, get your content in front of the people who need to see it, do multiple pieces of content per week. And even if you can't do, let's just say, 3 videos per week, you need to be making content every day. So let's just say it was 2 videos a week. The days you're not putting out videos, you need to be posting once or twice a day on Instagram. Do Instagram live stories, do Snapchat stories, be on Twitter, be on Facebook, and on all of those platforms. Your job is not to just be posting links to your YouTube videos. Your job is to participate in those platforms. Did that answer the question?
Totally.
No,
that's amazing.
I've heard that story probably 5 times now, and it never gets old. I love it so much.
Great. Yeah, it's so cool. Like,
That's great, man.
That's what it's all about.
Didn't Musical.ly just sell for like a crap ton of money? Like,
did they? I think they just raised a bunch of money, but I wasn't sure if they sold or if they just raised a round of funding.
I thought maybe they sold, but maybe not.
Wow.
Maybe not. I'm not going to speak on that then because I might be wrong.
Okay, so I think we should check the board one more time.
Checking the board.
And then
one more question maybe, and then
do we have another question?
Do we have any more questions? I see some people standing up. They might have been queuing up. Anybody? Well, let's check the board, and if somebody steps in, we'll head over.
All right.
All right, what we got up in here? Oh,
Hey, dudes. Hey, Gonzo. What the hole is this?
What the hull is this? Got to get past that spam filter.
Interesting way to...
Hyperloops everywhere. Yes, Hyperloops, man.
That's what's up.
That's good.
That's what's up.
Oh man.
And the tunnels, the underground tunnels.
Oh, the underground tunnels for like the cars and stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Completely get rid of the roads. Just put everything underground.
I'm down for that.
Put them all on tracks. No one's ever gonna crash.
All right. Andrew is a tweaker.
It says twerker.
It
says twerker.
Oh,
Neither of those things are true. Neither of those things are true.
Maybe you're involuntary high fidelity.
I haven't.
Twerking.
I haven't.
I can see you twerk.
I need like a button to make my avatar do it. Gino's back.
What's he saying?
Great points. How the hell did a car rental company get affiliated with you? On the surface, I don't see the connection. I can answer that. Where's the camera? There it is. All right, Gino. So the reason, going back to everything that I said earlier, it's not about just YouTube. It's about growing your brand. And so National Car Rental, I have a deal with them where I come in and I shoot a show for them called Technically Speaking. And in that show, I show 3 different tech gadgets that are meant and targeted towards a business traveler. So National Car Rental does, they focus on the business traveler, and they wanted a show for business travelers talking about gadgets. Now you see the connection. The connection is I talk about gadgets on my channel. They needed someone to do it for them. And that, they came to me, they said, hey, would you be willing to do this? Would you be willing to host this show? I said, yes. The show does not appear on my channel. It appears on their channel. So now I'm being paid by a major brand to make content for them. And, again, that goes back into the whole, it's not just about your YouTube channel. It's about growing yourself as a personal brand. And because to them, if a business traveler sees, one of the people who's their customer sees Andru Edwards talking about tech products, there's a good chance, not a 100% chance, but there's a good chance they'll see me and be like, oh, I know this guy. I'm into gadgets and I know this guy. And now he's doing something with, this car brand, and I travel for business every couple of weeks. And so, that's where the marriage is between those two things. Now they're also sponsoring a podcast that I do. So it's all about them wanting to reach their customers with content that their customers like. And so that's where it is. And smart of them to reach out and want to do that, because usually with a rental car company or anything like that, there's not really much loyalty unless you use them a lot. There's not much loyalty there. So what they're trying to do is have their users think about them even when they're not traveling, because my show comes out every week and they can watch me and they see National Car Rentals, ads and their logo and everything on the show. And so now that brand is more ingrained for those users.
Man. Let's see. He says, mad game, son. Drew dropping gems.
Always.
Always.
That's
Jenny,
cool.
Jenny told us. Eric is Eric Newman is actually streaming a 360 video of the stream right now.
How the heck do you do that?
He went out and he found a camera in the Microsoft store and they let him hook it up. So if you can find it, you can find the actual 360 live in-store view on Eric's probably his
Who's this guy?
Facebook.
This guy looks like they're flying a drone.
What?
He's like, look at his hands. He's like he's flying a drone around.
Oh, kind of does, yeah. Right on. Well, I think we're like right at 8 o'clock, guys.
We are. So the way we're going to do this, camera, come on up.
Come on, camera. Come on,
Andrew,
buddy.
Well,
Come on,
yes.
buddy.
Yes, sir.
for the people who don't know you, tell the people where they can find you.
All right. Hey, what's going on, guys? Andrew Edwards. You can find me twitter.com/Andrew Edwards. Andrew is spelled Andru. Instagram.com/Andrew. Facebook.com/Andrew. And, of course, YouTube.com/GearLive for all my tech videos.
Nice.
Topher, Twitch and Twitter. Go.
Breaking
So
records.
if you guys want to find me on Twitch, you can follow me at VR__nation, twitch.tv/VR__nation. Twitter is toe_fur on Twitter. Instagram toe__fur. I was way late to the game, so my vanity URLs just kind of aren't that good. They're not as good as yours.
I just have my first name. That's the best.
I know.
And for Twitter, it's Cap on Design. And if you want to watch other episodes just like this, go to Cap on Design TV on YouTube, and you can watch the entire season. Thank you so much, everybody. This is the end of season 2 of Glitch.
Yes!
Thank
Yeah.
you so much
And
for
the
coming
season
out
2.
and
This is
seeing us.
awesome.
And digital high five.
Digital high five.
Ryan.
Want a high five?
Oh, what am I doing up here? Did I just jump?
Digital high five.
Okay.
It's like you're like dunking on me,
This is
son.
terrible. This is terrible. Oh, I just got slapped in the face.
Right on, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming. We will see you guys on the next season.